Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I'm your host, Joe Zollo, and it is week 5 of the NFL season. Officially a quarter of the way through, not just the NFL season, but the fantasy football season as well. Bye weeks have officially hit, so I am sure some of you are looking for tight end replacements or looking for guys to maybe fill in for Keenan Allen, the wide receiver one, since he returned from injury last year. There's a lot of holes to fill with some big names on a bye week. We're here to help you out with that. Any other start sit questions along with who we love heading into the week. Let's get into it. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zollo. Just Ryan this week. Just Ryan. Thank God we needed Josh off the show for a week, so that's fine. How did week 4 go, Ryan?
For my fantasy teams, great. For my DFS and betting, not
No
great.
bueno.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was another weird week. NFL's throwing us for a loop. I feel like week 1 and week 2 felt predictable compared to 3 and 4. So we'll see what happens with week 5 with these guys coming back.
I was a clean sweep in my redraft leagues, and as
All
we know, I
right.
don't give a shit about the dynasty league because I'm just gonna keep losing. So we're feeling good. We're feeling good. We're feeling confident. Keenan Allen's on a bye in one league, so that kind of hurts.
Yeah, I've been riding Keenan Allen in my guillotine league. I'm first place, been just no threat of being chopped in that league, and I don't have him this week, so I'm nervous. But I also chose not to start David Montgomery last week, so I got him back. So
I also
pretty good.
I put Monty in my lineup as well.
Yes.
This week, not last week. I didn't think he was going to play. Why would he have played?
Exactly. It didn't feel right, except I'll own up to my stupidity. I always do. In one league, I started Aaron Jones, but didn't start David Montgomery. And I'm like, that's just compounding bad fucking decisions there. So.
That's double bad. Ooh,
yeah.
Tough. Okay. Here we go. Some news and notes. Kenny Pickett, he's ready to go, apparently.
Shocking.
Yep. He said, you know what I want to do? Play more under Matt Canada. So he's ready to go. He's ready to go this week. Robert Saleh says Breece Hall will be no longer limited. The only thing that will limit him will be his offensive line. So we'll see how that goes. The Broncos have released Randy Gregory after signing him to a 5-year, $70 million deal. Cool. Cool.
It's good work if you can get it.
Yeah, I guess. J.C. Jackson traded to the Patriots for a bag of Pirates booty.
Which Joe accurately predicted in the Ryan Josh Joe group chat this past Sunday when I said J.C. Jackson was a healthy sit. That was weird. And Joe's like, I look forward to seeing him traded to the Patriots next week.
Did I say that? Or is it,
you did 100%.
There's no way I said that word for word. You're kidding.
I'll have to go look it up.
There's no way. Listen, well, first off, pat in the back, Joe.
Yeah.
Writing was on the wall there that J.C. Jackson was going to end up being a Patriot at some point or another. Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp have returned to practice. Kupp hopefully plays in week 5. JT is on the PUP, so he's not eligible till week 8.
No. Pup's week 4 now. It's all the same. Or week 5. So he can come back this week. They just haven't said anything about him. I was able to find very optimistic things about Cooper Kupp. I was not able to find anything that optimistic other than it's his first practice in months for JT. So.
And he was a full practice today here in Indy. Jameson Williams is good to go. Von Miller says he's betting that he'll play week 5. Don't tell Jameson Williams that. And yeah, I see what you did there. And T. Higgins is considered day to day. It just feels like the entire Bengals offense is considered play to play.
I meant that as more optimistic. A guy with a broken rib is day to day and not week to week. But if you read what the coach is actually saying, it feels way more week to week than it does day to day.
Sure. All right. Before we dive into upsides here, our buddy Elixirs and a new guy, Goose. Hi, Goose.
Yes.
We will get to your question before we dive into this. Fields or Cousins? Cousins against Kansas City. He's at home. Fields is against Washington on the road. How we feeling? We had the same question last week, and I believe you guys told Elixirs to go with Kirk Cousins, and I said Justin Fields, and he was a QB2. So
you did. I have Fields two spots ahead of Cousins. I don't have a problem with either one of them this week, but I would go Fields.
I'm just worried about the short week is my only worry. That's my biggest worry. Which
I think my positivity around that is this might give him a room to improv more, and maybe we see more rushing from him. So
I would agree with that. Yeah, in the leagues I have Fields, I don't have a backup, so I'm just forced to start Fields.
There you go. That's a ballsy call.
I mean, Carolina's defense was, they're okay, but Brian Burns had one assisted tackle. They didn't get like any pressure on Kirk Cousins. So I would go Fields. Kirk Cousins looked bad. Like apparently it's either the defense plays well or the offense plays well.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, I've said this for a couple of weeks now. Kirk Cousins is Blake Bortles. You're waiting 3 quarters and hoping he pops in the 4th right now.
So. Yep. Josh Jacobs or the Happy Meal Brian Robinson. Sorry, we really got to specify. Brian Robinson against Chicago. Jacobs is Monday night at home against Green Bay. Robinson, obviously, tomorrow night against Chicago.
Don't mind Brian Robinson this week, but Josh Jacobs is a top 5 back for me. Give me Josh Jacobs.
After what David Montgomery did to that Green Bay defense, yes. Josh Jacobs, most definitely. And Jimmy Garoppolo should be back. I can't imagine he won't be.
And if he's not, if we see 10 targets to Josh Jacobs again, that's not the worst thing in the world for fantasy football.
Yep. And Goose says, is it time to trade Puka with the return of Cup? I will say I saw Bonnie. I believe we had her on Women of Fantasy Football at some point. She's been a guest on this show. I know she's been a part of it. She had said, expect it to be like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Don't be worried.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we never see Van Jefferson or Tutu Atwell thrown to again, if it's just those two. I also want to give his typo a little credit here. When I was waxing poetic this summer about Puka Nacua, I was talking to my son about him, and Donovan started calling him Pukachu, and that's what he wants to call him. So with this Pika, it just plays right into it for Donovan.
Pukachu. Okay, yeah. I like it. I like Pukachu. I wouldn't trade. I was thinking about that too. I have Puka in a couple leagues, and just hold him.
You can make the statement like, go get someone top tier. Who? Keenan Allen on bye, maybe attack the Keenan Allen bye week manager if he's desperate right now. I would trade Puka for Keenan Allen, and then the guys who you're not going to get, Justin Jefferson. But
throw it out there. Fuck it.
Yeah, I would say attack the Keenan Allen manager, the Justin Jefferson manager, the Tyreek Hill. Stephon Diggs is almost an even. Devontae Adams is almost an even. I'm not rushing out to get those guys. The Keenan Allen manager, if you can survive this bye week without Puka or Keenan Allen, that might be a fun trade because I think Keenan Allen is just going to fucking feast this entire season. So.
It's free money. Free money. Blurpy, see if he can do this trade. Trade Debo for Waddle. He's getting Waddle. I would. Okay. I feel like Debo's the odd man out in that passing game anyway.
People are selling low on Waddle right now. There's this notion that he's just not a part of the offense. There have been so many weird games for the Bills, and Tyreek is Tyreek. He was a part of the offense last year. He's going to be fine. It's just getting into a rhythm. Go get Jalen Waddle, especially for Debo Samuel.
Yeah, Debo, he's not the one. Ayuk is very clearly the apple of Purdy's eye. McCaffrey's the 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D in that whole offense. And it's honestly, it's between Kittle or Debo is really like that second or third option, but they're really like 3 and 4 behind Ayuk and McCaffrey. So you'll have pop questions from Debo pop games from Debo every now and then, but I think Waddle's going to give you more consistency. And I don't know if we remember back to last week when I said Miami can't play defense.
Yeah.
Miami can't play defense, so they will be playing from behind against good teams. They got clobbered by a team they will probably see in the second round of the playoffs. What did Joe say last week? They will lose in the second round of the playoffs because they can't play defense. They went toe-to-toe in the first and second quarter. Once you start getting physical and keeping the ball away from Miami, they're finished. They can't play football like that.
And like Josh brought up on Monday, Buffalo is a kryptonite for Miami in the Mike McDaniel era.
And Buffalo's kryptonite is the playoffs. So they just need to make it to the second round, and they will end up beating them. Now, next question. You got Hurts and Stroud. Which one to start week 5? I really don't want to overthink this. I feel like it should be Jalen Hurts. Don't overthink it.
Jalen Hurts is my QB1 this week. I love every bit of CJ Stroud. Spoiler alert, that's coming up later in the show. I love every bit of CJ Stroud. He's a luxury. You're starting Jalen Hurts.
I did try and get CJ Stroud in 1 or 2 leagues. Just I didn't put like a lot of money at him. I was just like, oh, if I can get him, cool.
That's exactly what I said in the waiver article this week. I like Stroud. Don't get me wrong. But
I'm not spending my whole fab on the guy.
The guys on waivers this week were worth 5% of your fab if you were desperate. I personally, in all my leagues, put in almost no waiver claims and waited until today when they were free.
Did you put in the waiver claim for Jonnu Smith, dog, the top tight end in Atlanta?
Best tight end in Atlanta. Had to, baby.
It was funny because luckily I survived your Luke Musgrave stream of the week. Well, obviously you can't predict a concussion.
Yeah, fucking first quarter concussion.
Yeah, you can't predict that. So I survived that because I actually dropped Jake Ferguson from that team to pick up Musgrave.
Yeah, that's rough.
I survived. We're chilling. But I was seriously contemplating like picking up Jonnu Smith in a couple leagues. I'd take Ferguson in every league.
They would have kicked you out of that league. You would have looked like a genius.
Well, I saw his stats. I'm like, okay, there's no way, right? Like they're going into London. There's no way this continues. They can't keep that up, right? Jonnu Smith, leading receiver, everything. I was like, what the fuck is happening? You know who he's under? Arthur Smith. You know who he played well under? Arthur Smith.
Well, me and Josh said on Monday, if they play Kyle Pitts another snap and don't trade him, all they're doing is risking him getting hurt at this point. You have to trade him. He clearly is not a fit on this team. It is time for him to go, plain and simple.
I mean, you might get a 3rd round pick, and I think that's generous. So, all right, last one before we get into upside downsides here. Bronson, Saints fan, trade JT for Kittle and Aaron Jones. I know Ryan's a big no on that.
Yeah, Kittle's been mid. Aaron Jones hasn't looked great since he came back from the injury. I'd rather see what I have in JT.
Yeah, I would wait for Jonathan Taylor. If you want to get JT off your roster, just wait. He's going to have a pop game at some point. He's going to. So wait for that game, trade him.
Yeah, this is selling low-ish on JT. Kittle has no appeal to me right now. He's done almost nothing this season. He seems to be the odd man out in that San Francisco offense. McCaffrey, as you brought, I mean, you talked about this. Ayuk, McCaffrey, Debo, and Kittle are the ones taking the back seat. Yep. Kittle's averaging 7 fantasy points per game in PPR scoring right now. That's not it. That's not what you're paying for.
What's Jonnu Smith averaging? Real quick, just wondering.
Now, hold on, it'll take me a second. But yeah,
because it's more.
8.2. Jonnu Smith in fantasy football is more valuable than George Kittle right now.
Is Pharaoh Brown more valuable than?
Per game, probably yes, because he came up off the practice squad, right?
Oh, he's been in since week 1, so
okay. No, he's at 3.8. He's played all 4 games.
Yes, he's played all 4 games. Okay. ASD, we see your question. Just want to get to the upsides and upsides first before we dive into yours. Ryan, you were 1 and 2 last week. Hey, all it takes is 1 week. Guess who's back tied for first?
Exactly.
After 2 goose eggs. Oh, you have Breece Hall, 20 fantasy points in Denver. That was the team he torched before tearing his ACL last year,
correct.
I believe.
And some other people have went on to torch them as well.
Yes, just a few. Devon Achane, top 10 again against the Giants. The 2 touchdown special this week goes to David Montgomery. Boom. Against Carolina. Hey, one guy already hit against Carolina. Why wouldn't a second?
Well, let's be clear. Carolina has allowed it in 3 of their 4 games this season. Maybe not the guys I've picked, but they've allowed it in 3 or 4 games this season, and David Montgomery's hot, baby. So.
Let's also be clear. I don't know what Jahmyr Gibbs did to Dan Campbell's wife and kids, but very clearly something happened. So it's very strange.
I am not that worried about Jahmyr Gibbs. I know others are. I'm not. I'm liking the way. I mean, as a huge David Montgomery guy, how could I not be liking the way this is going? So,
right here. Big, huge David Montgomery and Keenan Allen guys here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is you're gonna get no David Montgomery, Keenan Allen negativity on the Ryan and Joe show.
no, not at all. Breece, I mean, Denver self-explanatory. I mean, I wouldn't say the Giants have been off. Like, they did okay against Kenneth Walker.
They've actually allowed a rushing touchdown in every game this season. Let me talk a little bit about Breece Hall since we put him on the thumbnail. Unsurprisingly, Denver is giving up 10 more fantasy points per game to running backs than the second place team. That's a lot of points. And obviously the Miami game killed them, but they've actually allowed 4 backs over 20 fantasy points already this season. And then you hit it in the intro. Robert Saleh said that the snap count, the pitch count, whatever analogy you want to use, it's over. More importantly, Joe, last year, the reason we all liked Breece Hall coming into this season was last year he was averaging 5.8 yards per carry on well over 125 carries. He's at 6.6 yards per carry this season. He is a half yard better than the next person.
That is shocking considering how bad his offensive line is.
Exactly. So if we're going to see volume, and obviously the efficiency is going to fall, I'm not a fucking idiot, but if we're going to see volume on a 6 yards per carry back, give me Breece Hall all day. I don't think 20 fantasy points against this porous Denver defense is going to be an issue. While if
Khalil Herbert can do it, so can Breece
106 yards from Khalil Herbert, who was being buried 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
in a loss. Shout out Chicago. Yeah, I like all of them. I don't see anything there. Josh's picks, he's not here, but he's got CeeDee Lamb top 10 against San Francisco. I was meddling back and forth on that one. Aaron Jones top 10 against Las Vegas. Interesting. And Zay Flowers top 24 against Pittsburgh. I don't really want to defend anything. He was 0-1 on his bonus pick, which was Kyle Pitts will score a touchdown in London.
The Aaron Jones pick is interesting to me because they've been quite good, they being Las Vegas, against the run over the last 2 weeks. They obviously got cooked by the Bills in week 2. I don't know if I'm putting Green Bay on the same page as the Bills, so this is interesting to me.
Max Crosby came alive last week, which I took, again, survived Max Crosby as well because I took him out of my lineup because he was questionable.
Yep.
And I was like, well, Brian Burns plays at 1, so I have to take him out of my lineup. And come to find out, Max Crosby fine, and he has a sacks and 700 tackles.
In on every play. Yeah.
Every single play. Back in my lineup this week, thank God.
So that was the Khalil Mack, Max Crosby show. That's all that game was.
Holy goodness. Yeah, shout out Khalil Mack. I was 2-1 last week, 4-8 in the year. I got Romeo Doubs top 15 against Vegas. My hatred for James Conner will not live on against the Bengals because holy shit, they're bad. And Rashee Rice top 25 in Minnesota. I'll just quickly go over them. Romeo Doubs is the number 1 receiver in Green Bay.
100%.
And Vegas can't cover. Very clearly. They can't cover. The only thing they can do is get to the quarterback, but they can't cover. Now, what makes my case good here is that the Packers don't have Brandon Staley to go for 35 offensive yards in the second half. So I think they'll be okay. James Conner, I bring it up every time somebody talks about Cincy's defense. DJ Reader's great in the middle. Apparently, it doesn't fucking matter. There's some virus going through that whole team that's making them bad. They can't figure it out.
Yeah, I was going to say, not to mention, their offense is putting their defense in unwinnable positions. You never thought you'd say that about Cincinnati.
And Arizona has been good on offense, ? Like, they've been okay. They've been viable, and James Conner very clearly has played well in a couple games. I like Rashee Rice. I think he's the top receiver, not named Travis Kelce, obviously. In Kansas City, he gets the most targets. He's on the field the most. Minnesota's terrible. I'm looking for another Rashee Rice touchdown. That's what we're going for, folks. I like Rashee Rice a lot. I don't know. We'll see. I like Rashee Rice a lot this week. But I have put in Romeo Doubs in every league that I have him in. And I will go over the league that I am sitting I'm sitting Chris Olave in favor of some guys because I will bring up why I don't like Olave.
Yeah, I mean, he's becoming a problem. I saw the notes, so we'll get to that later. But yeah, he's becoming a problem.
Yeah. So ASD asking which two of these teams are better, and these are the two teams we're comparing. He's got T-Law and Sam Howell. We won't focus on the backups here because we're just looking at Trevor Lawrence or Danny Dimes. Trevor Lawrence, that one's pretty easy. Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Bijan, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, Zach Moss. I'm on the Bijan, Josh Jacobs, Zach Moss side.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah, the Hall, JT, Saquon, Kamara team, we just have to see something from those teams. You can't take away from the guys who you've already seen it from. So
yep. Receivers, Devontae, Jacoby, Amari Cooper, Godwin, McLaurin, Josh Palmer. Love that last one. Yeah. Keenan Allen, AJ Brown, Marquise Brown, Al Nazard, Michael Thomas, Jaden Reed. I give it to the first one on the receiver.
Ooh, see, I'm not going against Keenan Allen, AJ Brown. I like him. I like those two better. The fair. Depth is much better on the first team. So
yeah, and then obviously tight end Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Better.
That's all I actually needed to see. Everything else in these teams you can call one way or the other better. Travis Kelce is so definitively better than Darren Waller and really any other tight end who's not Mark Andrews, Sam LaPorta, TJ Hawkinson. So definitively better. I'll give it to that team simply because they have Travis Kelce. So 100%. First team.
Love the Texans defense though. What a team.
Yeah.
Houston. What a team. Elixirs, go fuck yourself, but it's probably Taysom Hill. You can't start Kyle Pitts.
You can't start Taysom Hill either. I know he's playing games with us right now. I assume he's playing games with us right now. There's somebody else out there, Elixir. It ain't either of these guys.
Jonnu Smith.
No shit. Yeah, Jonnu Smith. The Taysom Hill experiment, it's over. Plain and simple. He would have been most involved if he was going to be involved this past week. He has 15 fantasy points on the year, and that's in PPR. It probably doesn't change too much. It probably doesn't change too much in standard because he doesn't catch a lot of balls. It should only take me a second here. So yeah, 12 points in standard. I would still start Pitts for the upside, and I understand that's an oxymoron, but I would likely go get a real tight end off of waivers for Taysom Hill.
Yeah. From Motion Man, 1 and 3 in a 10-man PPR league. He got an offer. He would give up Lockett and David. I'm sorry. He would get Lockett and David Montgomery. He would give up Ramondre Stevenson and Jerry Jeudy. Excuse me. Should he accept it?
Let's see.
I'm on the Lockett and Montgomery side.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm sorry. Yeah. Nothing really needs to be thought of in that situation.
I know. You might be like me and had Ramondre very high, but didn't realize that Mac Jones would be calling the plays and be running out of the shotgun 90% of the time, not running play action. Ramondre Stevenson is a volume running back. When you get him in there and they're able to run the football, we've seen very clearly that if they commit to the run, they can actually make it work. And Ramondre also doesn't look a little right. This is the first week he's popped up on the injury report. I've been listening to Boston Sports Radio all day at my new job while sitting there in my office, just intaking everything. This offensive line is horrid. They're worried about Montgomery. Bill O'Brien's play calling is just absolutely horrid. They're not sticking to the run game. They are catering to Mac Jones heavily, and very clearly it's not working. So David Montgomery is the apple of Dan Campbell's eye. And Tyler Lockett is better than Jerry Jeudy. That's plain and simple. So, Riggs, start Breece Hall, Zach Moss, or Gus Edwards this week. This one shouldn't really be a discussion.
Not even close. Breece Hall, if they're taking the chain off, you want every bit of Breece Hall that you can get your hands on.
Yeah, I know you're worried with how the Jets have looked and all that stuff, but if he's saying everything's, all bets are off on Breece Hall, let him loose. Let him loose. Breece Hall's the guy. And Sear Chinkle, I don't know. Start Darren Waller or Jake Ferguson. Darren Waller is playing a team this week. He plays Miami.
At Miami, yeah.
In Miami.
Ferguson is at San Francisco.
In San Francisco on Sunday Night Football.
If it wasn't San Francisco, the answer is Ferguson by far. I'm putting these guys in equally bad situations, but as in one's playing a bad defense, one's a bad player. Miami's giving up a ton of points to the tight end. I'm going to try to ride Waller and hope that Daniel Jones remembers how to play quarterback.
Are you saying Jake Ferguson's a bad player?
No. Waller's a bad player.
Okay.
Ferguson's playing a tough defense.
Yeah, he's playing for Warner.
Love Jake Ferguson playing a tough defense. Hate Darren Waller playing an easy defense. I'm going to take the matchup and play Darren Waller here.
And you have to imagine they will be that could be another boat race of a game. You have to imagine they will be throwing to stay in that game. So yeah, you got to ride Darren Waller there. Don't love it, but you got to do what you got to do. Ryan, goose egg on the downside. Mark Andrews riding the conductor part of the train of the goose egg.
Yeah, Josh said he was going to come get me in the chat when we got to the Mark Andrews part of the show.
Yeah, it was what happened?
I think the long and short is this. We overestimated the Cleveland defense after 3 games against 3 bad offenses. They looked historically good. They were playing very bad offenses. And then you put yourself in a situation where you have an offense who can do absolutely nothing, and that fucks the defense over. All of that still doesn't open itself up to Mark Andrews got a get-right game, and he got it against Cleveland. Plain and simple. So.
Yeah, that was... I love how you had him on the no touchdown special.
No tutties.
And he had the 2 touchdown special.
Yeah,
which
could have just flipped him. We would have been good.
Yeah, impressive. This week you have... Which this is hilarious. Christian McCaffrey only scores 1 touchdown.
Just one. It's
just
the downside.
Just one. Which would still keep his touchdown streak alive.
So in my notes, I said, "You think I'm going to risk this touchdown streak? Hell no, man. I'm not betting against that." So.
No. You have Cole Kmet outside the top 20 after being the tight end 1 or tight end 2.
Yeah, people are bought in. Ridiculous.
After Denver didn't have Justin Simmons.
Yep.
Their best defensive player. Calm down.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I saw someone trade away I think Sam LaPorta to hang on to Cole Kmet. There.
I don't like Sam LaPorta this week. But what? That's stupid.
Yeah,
the no touchdown special goes to Cortland Sutton against the Jets. That one doesn't feel as bold.
No, I definitely was taking a win there.
That's a safe one.
Yeah, I went safe. I didn't really like it. Sauce Gardner's the real deal. I did find some interesting stats on this one. Stephon Diggs in week 1 has scored the only wide receiver touchdown against the New York Jets. He's the only one. So CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs went off against this defense. They're the only 2. Cortland Sutton ain't there, and there's only been 1 touchdown. Just getting back to Cole Kmet real quick. He scored 21 points last week. He scored 31 points on the season. Trade this man right now before this week happens. Washington is only allowing 5 fantasy points per game against the tight end, and no tight end has scored double digits against them yet. We're literally going to see Kmet go right back to where he was, and you're going to feel real fucking stupid if you didn't move him.
So I will say, while the Jets have only allowed 1 receiving touchdown,
yeah,
they played the Patriots.
They did, yeah. And that's another. Patriots. You're right, though, Joe. It's easy for me to cherry pick these stats, and I noticed that too because they played the Patriots and whoever their last opponent was. Yeah,
the Chiefs.
You're playing teams with no good wide receivers. So
yeah, and granted, they played Dallas, which has CeeDee Lamb.
And Lamb went off. Nobody else did, but Lamb went off.
That's why I think it would. So Matt says Sauce is overrated. He's not. He is a lockdown corner. The thing is, if you don't watch a lot of Jets football, he doesn't travel. So why CeeDee Lamb destroy the Jets is because he was lined up on DJ Reed. You want to know why Sauce Gardner is ranked lower than DJ Reed in Pro Football Focus's rankings? Is because they don't throw at Sauce. They throw at DJ Reed. And occasionally he's breaking up passes because he's very fast, but they're not throwing at Sauce. Ahmad Gardner is very good. He is very good. DJ Reed is not. So if you are smart and you line up Cortland Sutton on DJ Reed every play and put Jerry Jeudy in the slot and then put Brandon fucking Johnson on Sauce Gardner, you're going to have a better day.
Well, then I guess Sauce has given up 2 touchdowns.
Potentially. You have no idea. You don't know. Josh's picks. He has no Giants receiver. Finishes inside the top 30 against Miami. Well, yeah. Have they finished inside the top 30 at all this year?
Yeah, I think he's more going on the fact that Miami is just getting torched by everybody, and he's saying it's not going to happen.
Sure. Dameon Pierce outside the top 24 against Atlanta. Yep. Brock Purdy outside the top 15 against Dallas. Guys, they played the Patriots. Let's not.
I was going to say Dallas's defense has played well. We haven't seen them in a real matchup since losing Trevon Diggs. And obviously you could argue, what does losing Trevon Diggs do? But he does provide some playmaking ability on that defense. So,
you know what's funny? Deron Bland, the guy who got 2 interceptions last week, leads the team in interceptions since last year.
Yeah.
So we're talking about playmaking ability. Well, they didn't lose their best playmaker, technically.
That's true.
Because he's still healthy. I don't know. I think Purdy's fine. He struggled a little bit in the first half.
Yep.
Short week.
Got screwed out of a touchdown. They called that McCaffrey play a lateral instead of a pass. So.
Yep. My picks. I got Alvin Kamara outside the top 25 against the Patriots. They're going to stop the number one weapon. That's Alvin Kamara in Bill Belichick's eyes. And the reason I don't like Olave this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would have thought you would have said Olave there.
Rainy, windy, 20-mile-per-hour winds at kickoff. Derek Carr AC sprain in his throwing shoulder.
Yeah, Olave which really affected him last week. Josh was talking that up. If you're not going to let Derek Carr throw the ball, or he's unable to throw the ball, get Jameis Winston in the fucking game.
If there's one thing Winston could do is sling the football.
Yeah.
That's what he's good for. So I don't like Kamara. Bill well knows he's going to stop Kamara, and he knows he's going to have to put a lot of effort into doing that.
So is he going to have 13 catches for 36 yards this week?
Kamara?
What a stat line that was last week. All those catches and no yards. So.
Unbelievable. DJ Moore outside the top 20 against Washington. It's a short week. I don't like it. And my one that I don't know why I went tight end, because they all suck. But Sam LaPorta has been good, but I think he's outside the top 15 against Carolina. So Carolina's been good against the tight end.
They have, but LaPorta is just a part of that offense, and that's what I'm afraid. Now, here's the issue. Carolina's not good against the running back, as we've discussed, so there may not be any touchdowns left for Sam LaPorta.
Well, here's the thing, too. TJ Hawkinson had 2 points last week.
Yeah.
It's not like Hawkinson isn't used in that offense. I'm thinking back. Noah Fant, they kept in check, but it's Noah Fant. Yep. I'm trying to think of Carolina's other games. They've played Atlanta.
The Saints in Atlanta. So Pitts went for 2 for 44. The Saints did nothing because the Saints don't use the tight end anymore.
Yep. All right. Diving into your questions, starting with Matt. Tank Dell, Jameson Williams, or Drake London in a full PPR, Ryan?
Kind of hard to bench Tank Dell at this point. Kind of hard to play Drake London at any point. And I'm not going to gamble on Jameson Williams in his first game back. Definitely Tank Dell.
Go Tank Dell. You might be kicking yourself if Jameson Williams catches a 75-yard touchdown. But Tank Dell is going to be your more consistent guy there. Wait to see what happens with Williams when he comes back.
Exactly.
Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, Isaiah Pacheco for a flex in a full PPR. Ryan.
This one's a little closer because Pacheco's been turned. I mean, all three of these guys have been quite good. It's hard to even bench one of them. I think I'm going to go Pacheco for the guaranteed volume against Minnesota. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to keep the ball on the ground. Give me Isaiah Pacheco. And he's been more involved in the passing game than Jerick McKinnon. So
Zay Flowers against that horrid Pittsburgh secondary.
Yeah.
They are vying for worst secondary in the NFL. That it's bad. I mean, the Patriots will steal that from them inevitably because they have practice squad players out there.
We got J.C. Jackson now, buddy.
Dude, imagine losing your top 4 cornerbacks.
So rough.
What is happening? Oh, and let's just play Matthew Judon in a game where we're down by 30 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, that's smart. Trade Breece and DeAndre Hopkins for Jonathan Taylor. Ooh, Ryan, tugging at your heartstrings here.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is inconsequential in this trade, so it's really
he's a throw-in.
Yeah, who do you believe in? I guess the issue is we don't know what we're getting back from Jonathan Taylor, but we've seen good. Like, my concern is has Jonathan Taylor confirmed he's going to come back and play football for the Colts? Like, I think he has to play
a full participant at practice today.
I think he has to play one game to get his eligibility and be a free agent based on how all of this works. So I don't know if he's playing games. I'm not. Fuck. That's the answer.
The reason. So the reason he's having a hard time with this, Jeff, is Ryan loves Jonathan Taylor.
Adore him. Again,
which I do too. I'm still keeping Breece Hall.
I think I'm keeping Breece Hall. Yeah. 6.8 yards per carry or 6.6, whatever he's at. Regardless, I love Jonathan Taylor. He's never going to be that efficient. So it's Breece Hall.
Jeff, if you have a strong feeling JT comes back and plays for the Colts, do the trade. That's fine. I took Jonathan Taylor in 2 leagues, and he's currently just sitting on my IR spot.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to have Jonathan Taylor, but giving up Breece Hall when he's now fully unleashed is a little, I don't know. Just be wary about that. Riggs, one more question. Who do I start? Dobbs, Christian Watson, Jacoby Myers, or T. Higgins? Seems like he won't play. He's got to pick 2. Ryan.
Just because I don't want to start 2 from the same team. God.
I'm Dobbs and Myers. This is easy for me.
That's where I am too. I hate saying to bench Christian Watson, but he hasn't done anything.
If Garoppolo plays, Jacoby Myers is like a guaranteed 8 catches.
Yeah, like something like 11 targets per game when he plays with Jimmy Garoppolo so far. So
it's almost like he learned from Tom to throw to the tight end and throw to your slot receiver who's open on every fucking play.
Yeah, and it's very hard to bench Dobbs. The only way I'm considering Watson over Dobbs is if this is standard instead of PPR. If this is PPR, it's Dobbs and Myers. Joe's right.
Dubbies and Myers. Carrington, Nico Collins, is he legit? Am I trading? Or I mean, he looks legit. I haven't watched like a lot of Texans football, but he seems legit.
Contested catches. He's going over the middle, which is something Brandon Cooks didn't really do, and they needed somebody to do.
He's a big dude too.
He is.
A big dude.
He looks like an X receiver. He's playing his role perfectly, and more importantly, he has a hell of a quarterback throwing in the ball. I think he is super legit. Only way I'm trading is if it's an enormous upgrade. Again, it's the Puka Nacua thing, and Collins isn't quite to Puka Nacua's level. But I'm not trading Nico Collins for 2 mediocre players for flex depth. So
if you can, like we said to the Puka guy, throw out Nico Collins for Keenan Allen.
Yeah, to the guy on bye right now.
Yeah, throw out Nico Collins for Devonta Smith or AJ Brown. Throw them out for those those guys you were drafting in the top, that were going in the top 4 rounds. Just throw them out there. Just throw them out. You don't know. You never know. Throw them out for one of your favorite top receivers that are out there.
Yeah, people get so hung up on a couple of things. You don't want to get made fun of for the bad offer. Who gives a shit? People make fun of me all the time.
Oh, there was a bad offer today. I'll tell you that.
I straight up I've had someone literally write me back and be like, I need some explanation for that offer. And I was like, I wanted to see if you were desperate. And they said, okay, that was my explanation. That's all they needed. So
there was one today, and I think this is the one. I forget which league it was. It had to be this one. This was this blew my mind. Somebody traded Joe Mixon and DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
Bums. Absolute bums. They got CeeDee Lamb.
See, that's the kind of trade that doesn't even make sense. You're not even getting productivity. You're trading away non-productivity for productivity.
Yeah. Which is it blew my mind. First off, both teams are 1-3.
So this is just here, take my non-working parts and see if they work for you.
Fuck it, I'm 3-1 in that league. I don't give a shit. It's just it's great. It's just absolutely insane. That trade blew my mind. I will bring up a trade in our Dynasty League a little later on because I want to get general consensus on it because I'm hitting the hard reset button. Thoughts on Jameson Williams? Can he get a wide receiver 2 role? This is a weird thing to say. The only thing stopping him from getting the wide receiver 2 role
is Josh Reynolds.
Is Josh Reynolds' love affair with Jared Goff.
Exactly.
That's it. Josh Reynolds is not good. Let's get that out of the way. He is not good. There was somebody I used to work with who went to Texas A&M, and he was in class with Josh Reynolds, and he said he was the dumbest motherfucker he had ever met in his life. He's not good. He can't play. Jared Goff just really likes him. That's the only thing stopping Jameson Williams. Williams is better in every category. That and making sure he stays off DraftKings and FanDuel. That's the other thing stopping Jameson Williams. He'll get there. I don't think it'll be instant. I think you got to give him 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, you kind of hit this earlier on the show. You're going to be mad when he pops off for that 75-yard touchdown, but that's all he's going to do if he's going to do something. So,
yeah, exactly. Okay. Millie Mills, QB's Josh Allen. Guy wants to trade him Diggs and Najee for Swift and Brian Robinson. I mean, the best guy in there is Diggs, but holy God, is Najee the worst one?
Yeah, that and you're giving up 2 running backs better than Najee. I would need to know your wide receivers and know if you're desperate. I'm probably not making this trade. I don't like to give up starting.
His running backs are Bijan, Kieran Williams, Swift, and Brian Robinson. His receivers are T. Higgins, Olave, McLaurin. Go make the trade.
Yep, 100%.
Make the trade.
You can start Bijan and Kyren the entire time, and now you have a actual starting wide receiver, which you might not have on your roster right now.
Which you got double points. Olave's tough. McLaurin's look good, but then Dobbs and Tank Dell have been great, and Godwin's been showing up too. Yeah, make that trade. 100% make that trade. Johnny D got offered Ezekiel Elliott and Najee Harris for David Montgomery. You should.
He elaborates later that he doesn't believe Montgomery can keep this up. So.
Okay, fair. You should kick that owner in the nuts if he's close enough to you. If you're in close enough proximity, you're not like on the other side of the country, you should walk over to his house, knock on his door, and politely kick him in the nuts. Because have Ezekiel Elliott and Najee Harris combined scored as many points as Montgomery scored last week?
I don't think so.
That's insulting. That's the insulting offer that Ryan's like, I just want to see if you were desperate.
That's exactly. They are trying to see if you are desperate, plain and simple.
So. Do not do that. No. Fair. You don't think Montgomery can keep it up? That's very fair. You're talking
Johnny. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. We are very blunt people here. You are wrong. David Montgomery is going to keep this up. He is going to score 15 touchdowns this season.
I was gonna be nice about it and say Ryan and I are very big David Montgomery and Keenan Allen fans, so we believe in him. And Ryan just said, "No, fuck you, Johnny."
No, like I said, all love. I think he does. I think we are seeing history repeat itself in Detroit. This is exactly play for play, pound for pound, what they did last year. Everyone freaking out about Gibbs. DeAndre Swift was the RB21 in 14 games with less usage than what we're seeing from Jahmyr Gibbs right now. I'm not worried about Gibbs if you value him as a flex play. He is a great flex play. David Montgomery is going to score 15 touchdowns. They clearly favor him. They just rushed him 32 times when he wasn't even supposed to be active for that game 10 days ago.
Trade Tua for CJ Stroud and Jerome Ford.
If you need running back help, I'm not mad at that.
I agree.
Quarterbacks are interchangeable. If you look at fantasy right now, quarterbacks, if they're not named Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott, are so fucking interchangeable. Like everybody is scoring the same amount of points. So.
I'm not a Tua guy. Very well known that I'm not a Tua guy. I also said I'm not an Ohio State quarterback guy. CJ Stroud currently proving me wrong. He looks very good.
Yeah.
So, and yes, right, Ryan said if you need a running back depth, sure. Yeah, that's totally fine. Calvo saying trade Amon-Ra for Kamara. Nope.
No. Goodness, no.
His running backs are Madison, Rashad. I mean, is your running back situation bad? Yeah, definitely.
It ain't getting better.
It's not getting better. You could trade Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You're selling too low.
Oh my God, yeah. You could get a true running back one for Amon-Ra.
First of all, I'm assuming this is redraft, not dynasty. Fucking trade Jamar Chase. That offense
I was about to say, go trade Jamar Chase. Like, yeah. I understand. Jamar, you probably took Jamar Chase with your first pick. That's not
the thing is his name and his target share. You're gonna get your money back on it. So
look to trade Jamar Chase. Look to trade Jamar Chase for I mean, throw me some Austin Eckler. Like that. That's
Eckler would be a
trade.
great person to attack right now and try to get something back in that trade. Jamar Chase for Eckler gets you something back. So yeah, a Tank Dell if that combination happens to exist. Go if you want to have real fun. We've been saying this all show. Go attack the Keenan Allen owner with Jamar Chase and see if he has a running back he can throw in. Then you're getting a better wide receiver, and you're getting a running back. Josh Jacobs looked like he's about to knock the rust off. Josh Jacobs and a wide receiver. If you believe in the Saquon Barkley return, I'm big on David Montgomery. You might be able to get the David Montgomery manager to give you Montgomery and a good wide receiver. These are the kind of trades I would look for.
Yeah. K9, should he trade Miles Sanders for Breece Hall?
I want the Breece Hall side. Miles Sanders looks like he is going the wrong way. So.
Yes, I want the Breece Hall side. And this is a great question. Boyd, if Higgins doesn't play. Now, normally I am on this train.
You are. You're a big Tyler Boyd guy.
I'm a big Tyler Boyd guy because I like when Higgins doesn't play or Jamar doesn't play. Boyd very easily fills that role, knows the offense, very good in it. The issue is Joe Burrow is at this point in time, and I mean this wholeheartedly, equivalent to Mac Jones. This is a bad Joe Burrow. He needs to sit. He needs to sit out as long as he needs to get right. They need to figure something out. This is a bad Bengals offense. I have no faith in Joe Burrow getting the ball to Tyler Boyd, which is what I'm scared of. Ryan?
If it's full PPR, Boyd is hopefully a flex wide receiver 3. If it's anything less than full PPR or you need him to be more than that, you ain't getting it, plain and simple. I'm not in on this offense. The Bengals have scored the fewest points in the NFL right now. That's embarrassing and bad. Joe Burrow doesn't look right. The offensive line isn't keeping him upright. Nothing looks good about this offense except for Jamar Chase, plain and simple.
Matthew, I'm not sure if you had just came over from the Twitch stream asking the same question, but we said if you need running back depth, go for the Stroud Jerome Ford. Yep, there's nothing wrong with that. Millie Mill is saying the guy I'm training with, he has Sanders. I just thought Barry Sanders for some reason. I'm an idiot. Miles Sanders, yeah. Alvin Kamara, Cam Akers. It's bold of you to just have Cam Akers on your team. Receivers are Chase, Diggs, Puka, DJ Moore, Hollywood Brown.
I forget. I'm getting everything. This was a lot of questions in a row. Yep. Which trade is this?
I got him. Okay. This was Diggs and Najee for Swift and Brian Robinson, and he has Bijan and Kieran Williams to start in his running back spots.
Okay, so Najee's just not listed here. That's what threw me off. So
yeah, so he's saying smash the Diggs. He's asking if he should smash the Diggs.
Yeah, because he was the one who had all the running back depth ahead of those two running backs. Yes, go get Stephon Diggs. You needed the wide receiver help.
Milt, I'm not gonna lie to you. His team gets worse. Yeah. Like he's trading you the wrong top guy because Chase isn't doing anything. He's gonna sit Puka, Chase, and DJ Moore. I mean, I'm not confident in that. Nope. I'm confident in Puka. That's it.
Yeah. No. Yes. Go get that trade. You don't need the running back help as much as you need the wide receiver help.
Oh yeah. Don't know if the question is too technical, but Alexa, you've been here long enough. Come on.
So you just calling us fucking idiots before you can ask your question, man? Come on.
He has multiple wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 guys. Olave, DJ Moore, Christian Watson, Puka Nacua, Jahan Dotson. Let's get this straight. Olave and Puka Nacua are wide receiver 1s. Olave just needs a quarterback with an actual working shoulder.
Watson is a football player, and I'm going to be very interested to see as he gets more healthy. So
he's collected all the Brian Robinsons and Josh
I think
Jacobs.
He has Bijan and Brian. He has both.
Okay. He has collected all the Bijan and Josh Jacobs. Any trade suggestions? You're fine.
Yeah, I'm not making moves on this team.
No, you're good.
I don't know what you feel like you need. DJ Moore is your tradable asset. He's been popping off. You can't believe that this offense is going to constantly play the way they're playing. DJ Moore is your tradable asset. Christian Watson's just not tradable at this point, and he's such a good wide receiver 3 on this team. If you look at Puka as your wide receiver 1, Olave as your wide receiver 2 is just amazing. The 2 B-Robs and Josh Jacobs have to basically start every week. Brian Robinson has looked so good lately. So Jahan Dotson has no trade value. You have to hold on to him. DJ Moore is your trade piece. If you're looking to make a move, that's who you're moving.
So I will tell you, Elixers, I do not he says he's 1-3.
Yeah.
So I understand the need to want to make a move. I don't like Olave this week. I am starting I'm starting Dobbs over Chris Olave this week, and I'm also sitting Travis Etienne in favor of David Montgomery. I just not that I don't like Travis Etienne. I just think David Montgomery is going to have a better week. So I don't love Olave this week. So that might sting. Maybe start DJ Moore or hell, start Christian Watson because they've had 13 days to get right, 14 days to get right for the Monday night game.
The kid is going to pop. And I'm not saying this doesn't take away from Dobbs. Dobbs is the wide receiver one there. But this is Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel all over again. And so I think Watson's going to be absolutely fine. And I really like the kid.
Dynasty PPR and rebuild. What would you try and flip for Saquon?
Yeah, young wide receivers.
What wide receivers, or you need first round picks?
Yep. Young wide receivers and first round picks that you can turn into young wide receivers. Honestly, if it's a super flex, I mean, Jordan Love, attack one of these young quarterbacks that maybe the manager's not terribly in love with if you need quarterback help. But the most important thing for any dynasty manager in a rebuild is trade your running backs first, and do not take running backs back in that trade. Because if you're a rebuild, you're not saying I'm going to be better next year. You're saying I'm going to be better in 2-3 years. Those running backs could be worthless in 2 to 3 years. You want young wide receivers back.
Yep. Let's plant some trees. Great name. Just also mention, I see some new names. Reminder, we start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you subscribe, notifications, all those things.
And every Saturday, we do this for another hour with special guests. Start sit different day from 11 to noon. All we do is answer your questions. I mean, that's basically all we've done the last half an hour anyway.
Yes, but you can always come on the show and ask your questions. Yeah. You guys drive the show always. Drop Quentin Johnston for Drake London. Really tugging at both ends of my heart there. The hatred of TCU receivers and Quentin Johnston and the love for Drake London. They both suck at this point.
Yep.
Quentin Johnston because of his skill, Drake London because of his quarterback. So
I'm not going to say Quentin Johnston has no skill, and I'm going to say I want Quentin Johnston because of the quarterback he plays with. Drake London gets hella interesting if Taylor Heineke is named the starter, but as of now, that's still not happening.
So. Yeah. If Taylor Heineke is the starter, Drake London is probably a start in that game that Taylor Heineke is named the starter. You're keeping Quentin Johnston for the upside with his quarterback 100%. Brian, he's sitting 1-3. Seems like his losses are starting the wrong guys in his running back slot. Happens. How do you choose between these guys? Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, ETN, Mostert. Bro, you're 1-3? Yeah, that's tough. I mean, you should probably start all of them.
Yeah, if you can only start 2,
I'm going
probably
Monty
need to make some trades and fix your life.
I go Monty and Achane?
100% what I was going to say. Monty and Achane cannot be benched right now, plain and simple. They have a nose for the end zone. They are the focal points of their offense. Josh Jacobs still knocking rust off. DeAndre Swift looks good. You're right. It's a fucking conundrum. But if I am setting and forgetting, it's Monty and Achane. And it's Monty and Achane this week as well. So.
Brian, I would, if Mostert has another good game, because Achane and Mostert can easily have a good game, trade Mostert.
Maybe trade him now. Maybe make people think you're desperate if you can get a solid wide receiver back. So
yeah, that's fair too. Chaka, would you trade Kieran? I can imagine Mark Andrews.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And Adam Thielen for Tyreek Hill and Evan Ingram.
Fuck. Tyreek Hill is such a big win. You're getting the better player and the roster spot. If my running backs aren't awful, I'm making this trade. I want Tyreek Hill.
Tight ends are interchangeable to me. Hill's better than Thielen. As long as you can lose Kieran Williams, you're fine. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, good with me. The only thing that's interesting, I saw people bring up, Kieran Williams probably going to see a lot softer boxes now that Cooper Kupp is back. Could enhance his value. But yes, in this instance, go get Tyreek Hill.
I just want to throw out for Penguin. It looks like you asked us a question, but never actually put your question in. Okay.
It's coming, Ryan. Don't rush the man.
That was like 2 minutes ago, and I'm like, we're not ignoring.
God, he's typing. 1 and 3, 10-man PPR. He's got Jerome Ford, Chris Godwin, Rachaad White on bye. Well, you're not missing Rachaad White, I can tell you that much. Can you pick 2 receivers and 2 running backs, 1 flex? So let's go receivers first. Josh Jacobs, Khalil Herbert, Ramondre Stevenson. Jacobs and Ramondre reluctantly on Ramondre.
Yeah, I was going to say Jacobs and Ramondre in your first 3 wide receivers. This is actually pretty easy. So
yeah, Ramondre, the hope for me is that they run a lot of
receptions.
Well, no, not even that.
Oh,
Single
okay.
back formation because it'll be rainy, 20-mile-per-hour winds. Feed this fucking guy the football. He's good.
Wasn't there a game like that week 2 or week 3 already where we were hoping that was going to happen and it didn't happen? So
shut up.
Sorry.
It's going to happen. Shut up. AJ Brown, Chase Garrett. Yeah, AJ Brown, Chase Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, you can't depend on T. Higgins. He's not even a part of the question, and you're certainly not going to force one of those running backs into your lineup over one of those wide receivers. So.
Would you throw Christian Watson in over Jamar Chase? Or Garrett Wilson? I mean,
oh my God, it was 4 wide receivers. My apologies. No, I would not at this point. Jamar Chase, it's full PPR. Yeah, full PPR. Jamar Chase is a target monster right now. So no, I would go with your first 3.
You think Zach Wilson has another good week?
Yes, against this Denver defense.
Dog. Absolute dog last week. Look out. Also, for everyone giving Rodney Harrison shit about calling Zach Wilson garbage, have you not watched a single talk show where literally everyone is calling him a pile of shit? Rodney Harrison just happened to do it in a player interview after the game. No, I think Rodney Harrison was within his rights to say Zach Wilson is a dog shit quarterback.
You're absolutely right, but I think what made it weird for everybody was that he wouldn't let it go. Like when clearly they didn't want to talk about it.
I love it.
Diving in.
So. Go get him. Okay, Ryan, I'm going to let you do stream of the week real quick. I do see the other ones that came in. I will get to them, but Ryan, do your stream of the week here real quick.
All right, perfect. Week 5 streams of the week, all available in 50% or more ESPN leagues. We're coming off a nice week at quarterback and defense. Tight end went out with a concussion. We're going to see what some rookies can do for us this week. CJ Stroud taking on the Atlanta Falcons. He is the QB 10 on the season, 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns. And Atlanta, while they are middle of the road against quarterbacks, are still giving up 18 points a game. Plus, they chose not to have their bye coming off their London week. I'm expecting a hangover there. We're also going to go another rookie, Dalton Kincaid, in London, taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. He out-targeted Dawson Knox 5-1 last week. Jonnu Smith just 8 Jacksonville up, and the Jags are giving up the 5th most points to tight ends and have allowed touchdowns in 2 of 4 games to the tight end position. Defense is super easy. Detroit Lions should not be this available. They're at home against Carolina. They're the defense 8 on the season. They've scored 9+ fantasy points in 3 games. Carolina's giving up the 9th most points to defense and special teams and 3.5 sacks per game. Expect a big Aiden Hutchinson game. Those are the week 5 streams of the week. Full article tomorrow.
Boom. Nailed it. And for the new people here, I just want to add, I don't always sound like this stuffy every week. I sound normal most weeks. So don't get used to this terrible voice. You will get a better one.
And for a lot of new people, we normally have a third co-host who keeps me and Joe in check.
Yeah,
you give me and Joe. You give me and Joe the entire show, and it's just listener questions, and we talk about whatever the hell we want. Tell you which players are shit. We're mean to the listeners.
Yeah, we talk about Keenan Allen and David Montgomery. What a good show. Yeah. Josh hates David Montgomery too. This is a great show.
Exactly.
Oh, what a good show. Okay, Carrington asking Superflex Dynasty PPR tight end premium traded mid to late first for Quentin Johnston. No. In a super flex tight end premium, wide receivers
you can't give up a chance at a late quarterback for Quentin Johnston.
Maybe like a 3rd round pick for Quentin Johnston.
I'm not going to go that far. 2nd round pick is fine.
Would you rather do Ramondre Jaleel McLaughlin for that RB2?
Oh, how we have fallen.
Right? So it would be Josh Jacobs and Jaleel McLaughlin instead of Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not ready to go that far yet.
I would need to know Javonte Williams isn't playing, and you do have that. You can wait until Sunday. So I would need to know Javonte Williams isn't playing. I will say, if Javonte Williams doesn't get his shit together soon, by week 10, Jaleel McLaughlin will be the starting running back on this team. Because Samaje Perine hasn't looked good either.
Yeah, I feel that. Full PPR, trade Kieran Williams and CJ Stroud for Travis Etienne.
running backs are a wash and you're giving up a better quarterback. I don't think I'm making that trade. I'm not someone who thinks Williams is going to completely fall off the earth. I don't see the point in this trade. I'm not making that trade.
I've had ETN on my teams. Has he been good? No.
I think he's had a game.
Yeah, because he ripped off a 20-plus yard touchdown against Indianapolis. Other than that, he has averaged 4 yards per carry, never found the end zone, and is not active in the passing game.
Yeah. The not active in the passing game is what has me worried, because I was expecting 5 receptions every game. We've seen it twice this season. Like I said,
he doesn't get red zone carries.
And the other thing is, they still like Tank Bigsby, and he's involved. They don't give a shit about the backup running backs behind Williams. They're just going to keep feeding this kid the ball. So.
Ronnie Rivers is there, but yeah,
that's fair. They don't care.
No, they don't give a shit. Yeah. No, it's Sean McVay. Why would he give a shit about backup running backs? I keep Williams and Stroud. I have ETN in multiple leagues. You don't want ETN. Trust me, you do not want ETN. Calvo asking one more, trade Jamar for Tony Pollard. I think you could get more back, maybe like a light throw-in, high upside receiver.
That's the kind of trade you're trying to make, though. With running back needs, that's the trade you're making. Yeah.
So from Penguin, trader hold Jamar Chase or T Higgins in a PPR.
You can't do shit with either one right now. Yeah. Like we've talked about this with Jamar Chase. If you have other wide receivers you can play, and I'm guessing if you have Chase and T, you don't have other wide receivers you can play, you can go look to get an upgrade out of him. T Higgins has zero value right now, plain and simple, until people know what he's dealing with this injury. Let's not forget, T Higgins is the guy who says he's going to play, plays a single fucking snap, and then leaves the game. There is so much risk in T Higgins when he has a questionable tag next to his name. It's big problems. So
Bambo, great name. Trade Waddle and Michael Thomas for Puka and Breece Hall. Yeah.
Puka is who we want Waddle to be, and Breece is better than MT. So.
And you're getting running backs.
Yeah, exactly.
100% do that trade. Mr. Fantasy Master, someone offered Madison and DJ Moore for James Conner. Should I do it? His team sent Mahomes and McCaffrey. Great start. He has James Conner as his RB2, Waddle, McLaurin as his receivers, Hunter Henry, Javonte Williams, his bench is Christian Watson and George Pickens. He's not lacking at receiver, I don't think. I mean, he's lacking a horse at receiver, maybe.
Yeah.
But your horse is McCaffrey, so it doesn't fucking matter.
And I am a Alexander Madison hater.
Yeah, we don't like Madison.
I am not acquiring. DJ Moore is a sell high for me, and Alexander Madison is a please don't be on my roster for me. I'm not making this trade.
You could get more for James Conner. Keep the team you have.
Yeah.
I have to imagine you're at least 2-2 with Christian McCaffrey on your team. I have to imagine that that's the case. Keep it. Because at the same time, too, you've started James Conner, Christian McCaffrey, and Conner's popped a couple weeks. So you got to be sitting pretty.
I have a very similar team to this in my home league with Mahomes, McCaffrey, and a lot of also rans, and I'm 2-2. It's a great observation by Joe there. So.
Yep. FNS Trixie, I imagine this is the same person. Boy, should he trade or start, Kittle or Jake Ferguson? Same game. Where do you got him, Ryan?
I just don't like Ferguson this week, and I want to like him. I've been tinkering with my rankings all day, and I can't even get him past 12, which puts him far behind the big name guy. So I'm still going to go Kittle.
Kittle has a better matchup, even in a terrible, and I mean terrible, day for the New England Patriots. Hunter Henry had receptions. Mike Gesicki should have had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Kittle will get his. Jake Ferguson is playing the best coverage linebacker in the NFL.
That's the part. Like, it's not worth gambling on. He's such a big part of that offense. Again, this could be the exact same fucking mistake we made on Mark Andrews, but I don't see Jake Ferguson going for 86-2 or whatever. So.
Yeah. Alex Payne, trade away Mahomes and get Purdy and Hawkinson. Nope. It's a good thought. Let's get this straight. It's a good thought.
I was making the joke earlier. Quarterbacks are interchangeable. I should have clarified a little bit. The top 5 quarterbacks are interchangeable, and then the next 10 are interchangeable with one another. I'm not going to move out of Mahomes down to Purdy just to get better at tight end, especially for a tight end like Hockenson, who has his pop and bust games like anybody else. So.
And considering Hockenson had one more point than Luke Musgrave and played a full game compared to Luke Musgrave this past week, no, keep Mahomes on your team. Bam, we're doing live trades with Bam right now.
Live trades, I love it.
Counter with Puka and Breece and Jerry Jeudy.
Oh,
for Waddle and Kenneth Walker. His current running backs are ETN, Kenneth Walker, and Kamara. I am fine with you doing that trade with either ETN or Kamara.
Exactly. If you
don't trade Kenneth Walker.
Precisely. And start with Kamara.
Yes, start with Kamara. Go Waddle and Kamara for Puka.
The guy clearly wants to negotiate. If he countered you, he wants to negotiate. He's asking for too much. Knock Walker to Kamara. Hopefully he accepts and you're good to go. Jeudy is the throw-in. Doesn't bother.
Judy's a throw-in. Yeah, don't worry about Jeudy. He's a throw-in. Would you trade David Montgomery, Christian Kirk, and Christian Watson for DeAndre Swift and Calvin Ridley? He wants to get a decent running back like Swift and Ridley, and Kirk both on the same team, but like Ridley more rest of the season. These two guys would make my entire team balanced.
Okay, so let me throw one thing at you. You said all you needed to say on your last part of that sentence that you like Calvin Ridley more for the rest of the season. You need to do what you feel is right here. Me and Joe like David Montgomery for the rest of the season. So I'm not trading Montgomery for DeAndre Swift. And I think I personally am a Christian Kirk guy. So I'm not going to move. I've been waxing poetic about Christian Watson all night as well. I'm not going to move Watson and Kirk for Ridley, who I have probably below both of them. So this is a bad trade for me as an analyst. I would not make this trade.
He's looking to sell high on Monty because he lost Barkley and Chubb.
Oh, you're about to get Barkley back.
So. You're about to get Barkley back, but he lost Chubb. So we love Monty. If you think Ridley is the guy rest of the season, go for it.
My issue is you're not selling high on Monty though. If you're selling Monty for Swift and Ridley, that's a win. If you're
get Kirk and Christian Watson out of the deal.
Yeah, you maybe don't want a bunch of Jacksonville wide receivers. Maybe throw in Kirk and get another piece back. But this isn't selling high on Monty.
Yeah, you look to sell higher. If you want Ridley on your team because you want to flip Ridley and Kirk, great. That's fine. But go after his better running back or go after Swift and then maybe another high upside wide receiver.
Yeah.
To throw in with Ridley. Yeah, that's fine. Trade Derrick Henry and Tua for Ramondre and Anthony Richardson. Ooh.
Good Lord. This is a lot of non-working parts. No, Henry and Tua aside. I love it. I love A-Rich, but Stevenson
Richardson's been good.
Yeah.
Let's be straight. Good in fantasy. He hasn't been the greatest NFL quarterback.
Yeah, but
I'm going Anthony Richardson or Ramondre.
That's a good point. You hate Tua. So
I hate Tua, and I think Derrick Henry's still on a downslope, and that offense is terrible, despite how bad Ramondre's offense is. I think Ramondre's younger and has.
Shout out to Fletcher Cox for watching the show, though. Our third co-host, big Eagles fan. Glad to have you, buddy.
What?
The guy who's asking the question.
I didn't even see the name. Didn't even see the name. That's one of the first thing I look at. Bambo start Ferguson, Pitts, or Ertz. Zach Ertz.
Yeah, Zach Ertz. He is inexplicably this entire offense outside of James Conner. So.
He's had one game under 7 targets, and he's had 2 over 10.
30 targets in 4 games. He hasn't found the end zone yet, but dropped a touchdown last week. So
peppered. He is getting peppered.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs loves him some Zach Ertz.
Yes, trade Waddle, Kamara, and Gibbs for
Yes.
You're getting Justin Jefferson.
You're trading 3 flexes for the best wide receiver in fantasy football. You win. Give that guy flex depth.
He wants to say his team as well. He would still have Bijan and Devon Achane to pair with Travis
and Kelsey. Oh my God! Yes,
Allen.
Go make that trade before that person changes their mind.
As this is not an acceptable term anymore, but as they said in the league, that is trade rape. That is what they said back in the league in the early 2000s, or late 2000s, early 2010s. That is exactly what that is.
Yeah, that's a big win.
That trade.
Go make that trade.
Yes. Elijah Moore, a drop if I don't own CMC.
Depends on who's out there. The thing is,
sucks.
And as someone who forgot you hate him, it's been so long since we've talked about him.
He sucks.
I do not hate Elijah Mitchell. If McCaffrey were to go down, Mitchell has immense value. He's going to be the waiver wire pickup of the week. If Tank Dell's not out there, if Nico Collins isn't out there, if there's not someone worth grabbing, don't just drop him because you don't think he has any value. Running backs that are one injury or away are what you should fill your bench with.
Fair. All right. That's everything, folks.
Holy shit, we did it.
We did it.
I told Josh I would do the show sheet. It's just so many questions. I'm just going to do it tomorrow, or the timestamps. So.
It's nice being stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, it is. I got that free time, baby.
Yeah, it's great. All right. Everyone, thank you for joining. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We appreciate it. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. If you didn't get your start sit question in, Saturday, 11 a.m. I should be there for like the first 30 minutes, and I have to dip for work. But please join us. We appreciate all of you. We have a bunch of other stuff that happens throughout the week as well. We appreciate all of you. Thank you to the new faces. Thank you to the old faces that have joined us. For Ryan, Josh, who's not here, and myself, you can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Always remember, defense wins championships. Offense wins fantasy football. We will see you next week.